I did not want to do this. I did not want to do this. I did not want to do this. I did not want to do this review.
Come on, stop it!
It's an old movie now, at least as far as the YouTube algorithm is concerned, and I'm a struggling channel. I need to stay relevant. I gotta work on what's hot, what's hip, what everybody's clicking on, what's in the news, what's the new Acolyte controversy. I don't have time for this. And I took it on good authority from other reviewers that this movie sucked. I did not question them. I just avoided the film. And let me tell you, all them that panned this film, they were right. Now, for reasons I won't bore you with, I have been tasked by a company I'm working for to check this movie out to make sure that it doesn't conflict with a story that I might be working on. So here I am, and if you're up to it, come suffer with me through an octogenarian Indiana Jones, a stand-in for the most insufferable sidekick ever, a nutsy with a good idea, kill Hitler, hair lip, and the Dial of Depression. This opening sequence, yes, it's too long. The age regression stuff, I gotta say, looks pretty good, but it still obviously ain't him. And through most of the opening sequence, he looks like the corpse of Indiana Jones with a 1,000-yard stare. It looks good for a video game, but for a movie, I can tell it ain't really him, so it doesn't work. And Ford's 80-year-old voice is incongruous with his youthful looks. And the look of the opening is muddy. Did they shoot it all at night in the dark to help cover up the poor CGI age regression? Because it just looks like crap. Now we're in the 60s. Has Hollywood learned nothing? The campy leather jackets, the haircuts, it looks like a 70s theme party. And Voller's goons look like a new low in cartoonishness. And it's kind of lame writing that any of the character development of the Voller character comes at the expense of berating a waiter. Is that all you could come up with? He's rude to the help? And this brings us to Agent Mason. I understand that in this day and age, in the zeitgeist, the powers that be are telling the filmmakers to make things more diverse. I get it. But what is the point of this character? Even this character as a white man, what is the point of them? She seems shoehorned in, and awkwardly so. There's Voller's goons, and she's with the goons, but she's not one of the goons? What's going on? Is she with them or not? What's the relationship? It's muddled. And they do this character wrong. They do her dirty. They make her look stupid. Her drawing her gun on the goons after they kill 2 witnesses, 2 civilians, and then not doing anything about it as an agent, as a law enforcement agent, makes her look weak. She pulls her gun on him, he ignores her, and then she does nothing. So whatever their job is, you're a law enforcement officer and 2 civilians have been killed. So either shoot him, or if you're with them, then put your gun away. Cause pulling it out and doing nothing makes you look weak. And along with the name calling and shoving. This is writing from people who have no real life experience. And it made her look even weaker, emotional and easily rattled. I looked it up. To my surprise, the screenwriters are English and they're a little older. Are they forgetting the famous Margaret Thatcher quote? Being powerful is like being a lady. If you have to say you are, you aren't. So I can only guess this must come from notes from a studio exec to the writers. Only those rich kids think that name-calling and shouldering someone as you walk by them is a sign of strength. Or, let me guess, empowerment. What it does is undermine the character. It's passive-aggressive. I feel bad for the actor because they did her wrong. Here's another thing. Clarity on who is who. She's an agent, and the guy on crutches is an agent. But not the other two? But they're working together. It's muddled. Don't make the audience do busy work. You want the audience engaged in trying to figure things out, but not parts of the story that should be obvious, but the writers bungled. So they kidnap Dr. Jones and they got him in a van. He asks, "Who are you people?" She says, "That's my question." Is she supposed to be an idiot? Here again they make her look stupid. Is she supposed to be like the guy from The Office? It's not her question. That doesn't make sense. She knows who he is. Her question isn't, "Who are you?" They went after him specifically because he's Dr. Jones. And if she's law enforcement, she's supposed to identify herself to a citizen she has apprehended. Not even out of the first act, and this movie is a mess. Way too overly complicated, too many characters, and too many of them are stupid. And stop trying to portray her as a hero. She's working with the Nazi. Own it. I mean, geez, this was literally in Last Crusade.
You stood up to be counted with the enemy of everything that the Grail stands for. Who gives a damn what you think?
And why are law enforcement following Shaw? Voller wants the dial doohickey. He knows Jones teaches at that college. He's helping the U.S. government. Why not just get a search warrant to comb the place? Why all the subterfuge? Now she's having a drink with Dr. Jones in the least crowded bar in New York City history. I like that her character has a goal based on Dad's research, mirroring Last Crusade and Indiana Jones and his father. I like she says that she wants to be famous, setting up a character flaw. However, like the arrogant character in She-Hulk, The flaw isn't meant to be a bug, it's a feature. I don't get it. She's arrogant, she wants fame, she wants money. I mean, do these filmmakers think that's what Indiana Jones was like? He's about the science. He's not about the seeking things for glory. He's trying to put things in museums so people can learn about them and learn about their history. Now we're in Tangiers. The auction scene is a mess. And of course, the kid, Hairlip, is guarding the door to the auction, being run by the big Moroccan gangster. And who's running the auction? She just standing up there like she's giving a toast while people shout numbers at her? Here's 200 if you go away. No one is overseeing the proceedings to validate the items to handle the bidding. Movie, what's going on? Get it together. And it ends like so many scenes play out in this film, with our main characters magically not getting shot, even though 20 people are aiming pistols at them from 5 feet away, conveniently taking out guards and ruffians with one punch. No one in a position of authority or hired to use any physical force is ready for anything. Oh, this portrayal of her is insufferable. I'm going to use the word insufferable a lot. She's a gambler, a rake, a hot ticket. It all feels forced. It's trying too hard. It smacks of effort. You're doing the one cardinal sin you don't tell, you show. They keep telling us her backstory of, wow, what a loose cannon she is. It all plays out like a rich girl's fantasy of being a rogue, of slumming it, of walking on the wild side, but with the safety net of being able to go back to the comfy upper-class lifestyle. There's a great quote in the book Notes on a Scandal that was made into a movie with Judi Dench and Cate Blanchett. The author is Zoe Heller. Excellent writer. She really captures snapshots of humanity. There's a line in the book where the Judi Dench character says about the Cate Blanchett character, I'm paraphrasing, she's like so many of the haute bourgeoisie who are possessed of a mythology of themselves as being street smart. Wow, that's this character in a nutshell. The movie is exhausting. The characters fly around the movie spitting tons of exposition and what I presume the writers hope is witty banter. But it just undermines every situation. It robs it of any seriousness or gravity. It reminds me of the movie First Blood, the first Rambo movie. It was very grounded, but with each passing sequel, the character got more and more overblown, more over the top. He became a caricature of the grounded character he started out as. Certainly, the Indiana Jones films have gotten more over the top with each sequel, as popcorn blockbusters do, but they were tethered to the character, and as personified by Harrison Ford, he seemed able to handle himself, for example in fistfights, but he wasn't superhuman. He could lose. He could and would take damage. The original trilogy, even though they did get progressively more over the top, it wasn't as ridiculous as the final two, the flying nuke-proof refrigerator, flying through the treetops with the monkeys. But they're clearly trying to push this Shaw character who hasn't earned it. At least with Rambo and Indiana Jones and their respective franchises, the characters have kind of earned their over-the-topness. She doesn't have the same screen presence as Harrison Ford, at least for this type of character, and doesn't have the requisite charm. She's charming for Fleabag, or rom-coms, or period and contemporary dramas. She's got great presence for that, but not as an indie surrogate. She comes across as brash, arrogant, and reckless to the extreme. Do these filmmakers think that that's what Indiana Jones is like? Because he's not. I don't know who this character is supposed to appeal to. Throughout film history, this type of character is the one who usually gets their comeuppance. They got a big chip on their shoulder and need to learn a lesson. She comes across like your rich marketing executive aunt who got lost in her VR headset and is high on her own narcissism. And we get a break from the golf cart chase, and at this point, Bridge and Hairlip become insufferable. Supersize my insufferability. The eye rolling, the side glances and smirks from the two. Who is that supposed to appeal to? Newsflash, nobody knows who you two are, and nobody cares. Your shitty little attitudes undermining the star character, whom we're actually here for, aren't winning you over to the audience. Or at least not me. Checks notes. Oh yeah, box office bomb. Guess your cheeky attitudes didn't work. Added to which,
respectfully submitted for your perusal,
the scene where she decodes the MacGuffin. She has this cheeky, smart-alecky, vampy performance. Someone just died, asshole. Again, I don't blame the actor, although she is the final result of the writer and director's concoction, and she's not doing anything to save the poor choices made by said writer and director. This scene epitomizes how these films have become so disconnected from reality. Obviously, it's a blockbuster, I get it. But when you can't wait 2 minutes to jump into snark mode, and I don't know, he calls her out on it a few minutes later, doesn't change the fact that she couldn't read the room and got so incredibly high on her own smarts. And this character is supposed to be a cunning grifter? When you can see her coming a mile away? I'm sure she's a hot ticket at the Hollywood ball, but you upper-class Hollywood types wouldn't last 5 minutes at a Filene's basement clearance sale. Ugh, can we get to the point of the movie? I don't understand how Voller thinks that he's going to be sent where he wants to go. The device locates a fissure, but how do you know where it's going to send you? Why would you assume it's going to send you where, and more specifically when it's going to send you? I guess you could assume you'll be in the same place, just a different time. But what time? Why would you think that it would send you exactly where you want to go, when it could send you anywhere in time? And Voller just happened to have a plane and crew ready to go on the island of Sicily? I agree with Pitch Meeting. Why are we just learning of Voller's plan now?
Oh, wow, wow, wow. Wow.
It's a cool twist, actually. Here's a kind of time machine, and this character is going to go back and kill Hitler. But so that the Nazis win? Why is this not revealed earlier? What a conundrum for the main characters. You want to stop the guy, but if his plan is to kill the big baddie of history, maybe you should let him. But if he does succeed where Hitler failed, things could be even worse. It wouldn't really change much narratively speaking, but it would make for some more compelling discussion. And she punches him out to get him home. Get the fuck out of here. That was the stupid cherry on the octogenarian's sundae. Then at the end, Marion is back, asking him if he's back. Are you back, Indy? And I thought, oh, is that what this was supposed to be about? That he was in a funk, that he wasn't himself, presumably because of the loss of his son and Marion? Yeah, it really was not conveyed at all. And I feel like we've seen that kind of thing before. The beloved hero is not themselves and needs to snap out of it. Kind of an underlying thread in Spider-Man Far From Home, where Peter Parker loses his Spidey sense. Or in the Breaking Bad pilot, Walter gets his mojo back at the end of the pilot. It's a trope. It's not a bad trope, but you gotta make it clear. Maybe it's because the character is 80, so it was difficult to distinguish between being in a funk, the character having lost their way, and being old, the character having gone through quite an exhausting life. Honestly, to me, he just seemed in a natural state of maybe technical depression. You're at that advanced age, your son was killed in Vietnam, and your marriage disintegrates. I'm not sure that's funk, or just life doing what it does. Bootsy, your diagnosis?
Oh, yeah.
But personally, I don't see how they got from where we were at the end of Crystal Skull. I hate acknowledging that film. So maybe where we were at the end of Last Crusade? To him being in New York City? To me, it was more likely he would become head of the archaeology department at the school he taught at. Maybe he's lost in his notes, his study, his research. They want him to retire. He's getting more eccentric, and that leads him to going on the journey somehow for, if not this doohickey, then another. What brought him to New York? The character is much more of a character at home in the wild, in the wilderness, or in undiscovered countries. He's not in Manhattan. And then you got Shaw sitting there on the couch, looking sheepish and like, oh yeah, and I kind of brought you two together. She's supposed to be this fame-seeking, trying to get rich quick grifter, getting rich, by the way, off stealing an artifact that didn't belong to her. She even says it in the movie, this will help pay off her debts. Like she's Han Solo paying off Jabba.
You sure about that? You sure about that? You sure about that's not why?
It's this bizarre attempt to present, here's the female version of Indy, when Indiana Jones isn't anything like this character. And then at the end, they try to wrap it up with she's a matchmaker and she's bringing their relationship back together. Really?
You sure about that?
The gambling addict thief who puts children in danger? This is a mess. Ugh. It's been said about the elite in general, and Hollywood in particular, that they're vulgar. They're crass. And passing this character off on the back of a beloved one like Indiana Jones is crass. Put a movie out with this character and let the audience judge her on her own merits. Let her earn it the way Indiana Jones had to earn it. See if this hard-drinking, gambling, rogue, rapscallion will be embraced by the audience. Don't pawn her off on us through Indy. Thanks for clicking in.
We got a report from the Bronx. Some small-time clique ran into them. The orphans.
They're not on our network.
They subscribe anyway.